Welcome back, everybody, to What Do You Know with Nick and Devin. I am Devin.
And I'm Nick.
Oh, I didn't know your name got extended.
Haven't you heard?
Legally changed and everything. Nick. Mm-hmm. How do you spell that? It's just H-E-H-E-H-E-N-E-N-I-C-K?
There's a few silent G's in there. So
okay.
To really... I want the guttural,
right.
throaty, yeah.
Perfect. So, Nick, I know one thing about you. Only one.
That makes sense.
Only one.
And
it's
not my name.
It's that you don't play video games.
No.
At all.
No.
I think we forced you to play some video games before. Like myself and Brian have forced you.
Totally. And like, if someone's like, hey, jump onto Mario Kart, fine. Or like when I was younger, like I would play a Portal Runner.
Portal Runner?
You ever played Portal Runner?
No. I know the game Portal, but not Portal Runner.
Portal Runner was like, you would just go into like different like realms, there were like different things, and then you had to like find objectives. You were kind of like a Lara Croft-esque character.
Okay.
I also played Lara Croft.
Perfect.
And like way back in the day when we had like Sega, right? Like that sort of thing. But Sega. But yeah, I don't get any like Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
Monkey Ball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can just keep saying more.
But you don't play him at all?
No,
Okay. Would you like recognize some characters if like you were shown them?
Sure.
Okay.
Depending.
I mean, you talked about like Mario Kart. Did you ever play like Super Smash Bros?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I was always Fox.
Fox? I mean, classic. Did you only play on the N64 or did you go to like play it on the GameCube, Wii?
I played
Switch?
it on the N64, and then I've only played it on 64 and the Switch.
Okay.
Yeah, not the in-betweens. Sorry.
That's fine. Still always Fox, though?
Still always Fox. Or sometimes Link, but usually Fox.
Yeah. Link is always a really classic one to go to.
Totally, but like
Fox is great.
Fox is, he's kind of hot, you know what I mean? It reminds me of Robin Hood, Disney's Robin Hood.
Oh,
like they're kind of they're kind of hot.
No, I always for the N64 I played either as I used a main Ness, which was wild.
Okay.
But I would play as Fox or Captain Falcon was always my big guy too. That Falcon Punch would just like send people flying. It was great.
Brian will always play as Kirby.
Oh,
because then you can like take everyone else's like powers.
You can suck them up.
Usually Kirby or Seamus, I think.
Samus.
Mm-hmm. That one. But I make it Irish.
Right. Oh, you mean the IRA member, Seamus?
His weapon is a Molotov cocktail, but there's a Guinness in his left hand.
Right.
Perfect.
So it's funny that you actually bring up Kirby.
Oh, you're gonna say Seamus.
No, not Seamus. Okay. We're not talking about the IRA today. But the question that I wanted to ask you was, what do you know about Universal City Studios Incorporated versus Nintendo Company Ltd?
I know what those two companies are.
Great.
That's it. Is this a court case?
It's a court case.
Oh, court filing.
I think that's all we can do.
Legally, yeah, exactly. If we do it in a different key, it'll be fine. Yeah.
Sped up slightly.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this court case, and I'm just going to shorten it to Universal v. Nintendo.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know how many times I'm going to say it, but here we are. So we're going to boogie on back to 1982.
Oh.
The boogie is time.
Was there still boogie happening in 82?
No.
Okay. I was like, I think disco ended at that point.
But we're going to go to the offices of Sid Sheinberg.
Excuse me?
He was president of MCA and Universal City Studios.
Oh, what's MCA?
MCA, I don't remember what it exactly stands for, but I think it's something with music.
Music Capital
Association.
America.
Everything's America. But yeah, it's music related.
Okay.
And he is trying to figure out how to get into the video game market, which is currently exploding.
Bam.
Right, so we have arcades blowing up. We're getting the introduction of home video game console systems.
Okay.
So video games, super hot right now.
So hot.
So Sid, I'll refer to him as Sid, first name basis, learns about this little game called Donkey Kong, if you've ever heard of that guy, and how successful it was. And for those of you who actually don't know, Donkey Kong, the game, was technically the first Mario game, while the main character wasn't originally called Mario. He was called Jumpman and then Mario. This is where, he climbs ladders and platforms, jumping over barrels to reach the top to save the princess.
Yes.
Actually, it's not a princess. Excuse me. It's his girlfriend, Pauline.
Really?
It's not Princess Peach.
Pauline.
Yeah, Peach comes in later during the Mario games.
Oh.
This is just his girlfriend.
Can we get it in kind of that New York Italian accent?
Pauline.
No. You'll work on it.
I'll figure it out.
But dub over your voice.
Pauline.
There
I had to get
it
the
is.
Paul,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. That was perfect.
And Pauline actually wasn't named Pauline until later. It was just she was just named Lady. Lady.
Hey, lady.
Right. And so that's the plot of Donkey Kong. And so Sid sends his lackey Robert Haddle, who was vice president of legislative matters for Universal, to look into this Donkey Kong game.
I also like that you called him a lackey.
Well, he's
his top lawyer.
His lackey.
His lackey. Yeah, okay.
I'm really painting a perfect villain.
Great picture.
So why was he sent to look into this? Well, Robert came back with his report on Donkey Kong, that both his appearance, Donkey Kong's appearance, and storyline were based on King Kong, which would be an infringement on Universal's rights to that franchise's characters and scenario. So Robert was like, Donkey Kong, King Kong, same person. The fuck? Let's sue.
Is that where he gets a tie? Or is that only Diddy Kong that has a tie?
No, Donkey Kong has the tie. It has the red tie and it has DK initials on it.
Yeah.
I don't remember when the tie was introduced. I think that was more when he was a 3D character, when you could add more detail.
Sure, that makes sense.
And so Sid, after learning about all this, he also learns that there is a deal between Nintendo and another company called Coleco.
Okay.
Coleco.
Okay.
Now, this company, Coleco, was a company that converted arcade games for home video game consoles.
Oh, okay.
And for some of us might be thinking, what about the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System? That wouldn't come out to North America until 1985. But Coleco ported the Donkey Kong game, as well as others, to other consoles, including the Coleco Vision. Yeah, Coleco Vision, which was a game console.
Okay.
And Nintendo wound up porting Donkey Kong to the Game & Watch, which was a handheld game.
Okay.
And at this time as well, for more video game history, arcade games were super powerful for the time. Because they had plenty of space. They had huge space to have a giant motherboard to be able to run these more powerful games, while home consoles weren't as powerful.
Sure.
They weren't able to provide as good as graphics as arcade games. Cool.
Got it.
All right, so Sid lines up a meeting with Coleco president Arnold Greenberg for April 27th to potentially talk about investment deals.
Okay.
However, Sid pulls a fast one on Arnold. He's a villain here. That's
How
why
dare
he's a
he?
And Sid instead threatens to sue Coleco for copyright infringement if they ship the ColecoVision with Donkey Kong as was planned. Like I said earlier, the ColecoVision was a second-generation home console that outperformed previous consoles to provide a more powerful arcade-like experience.
Okay.
So like Coleco knew what they were doing, and that's why Universal was like, oh shit.
Got it. Okay.
Let's hold off, because they saw how popular Donkey Kong was and how great this new console was going to be. That's a big threat to the market.
My question is, did Donkey Kong really have a similarity to King Kong? Like, was the storyline doesn't seem...
Well, I'll get to that.
It's just a big primate. Yeah.
So essentially, what Universal saw was we have an ape-like character kidnapping a woman.
I get it.
And you have to climb a building-like structure to save her.
Save the woman. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I've actually never seen King Kong.
Really?
Yeah. Have you?
None of the
iterations. Yeah.
Oh.
Have you?
Yes. I didn't see the original one that was like in the 50s. But I saw the one that came out in the early 2000s-ish, maybe like 2010s, with Jack Black. Yeah. And then there was another one more recently that's part of the more recent MonsterVerse movies.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's like Godzilla, King Monsters, and then King Kong, and then now Godzilla versus Kong.
And that they're all from Kaiju. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. You know, my theory with Resurrection Mary and the Kaiju.
You know, what's the 6 degrees of separation between Resurrection Mary and Godzilla?
Let me tell you.
Perfect.
So the day after April 27th, Universal gives Coleco and Nintendo 48 hours to stop all marketing efforts of Donkey Kong, dispose of all Donkey Kong related inventory, and hand over all records of profits made from this game so far.
All right, that's a little extreme.
Hell yeah.
Jesus.
Come on, Sid.
Calm down. You're Warner Brothers. Take a breath.
Universal.
That's what I meant.
So on May 5th, Arnold from Coleco, hoping to calm Sid down, agreed to pay royalties to Universal at 3% of Donkey Kong's net sale price.
Damn.
So at that rate, 6 million units was worth $4.6 million.
Amazing. But Sid wasn't having it.
Well, because of this, Universal wouldn't sue Coleco. They paid their fines, whatever. As long as they continued to pay the royalties, Universal wouldn't sue.
Okay.
Which is just kind of how royalties work. But
right.
Right.
Just contractually how that works. Right. Yeah. Once you stop payment, I am then allowed to sue you.
Right, right. Anyway.
Amazing.
So while all of this is going on, the lackey Robert is having his own fight with Tiger Electronics. Tiger was a different video game electronic company, and they had licensed King Kong for a handheld game. And so Robert decided that the earnings were too low from this game, and the exclusive rights granted to Tiger would impede on the deal that Universal had just made with Coleco.
Oh, okay.
So Universal then demands from Tiger to review the game once again, and they wind up determining that it is too similar to the Donkey Kong game. It is so similar that the game that Tiger Electronics had developed is that instead of jumping over barrels, they're jumping over bombs. And you're still climbing up platforms.
That's literally all it is.
It's the same fucking game.
That's insane.
And so Sid goes fucking nuts and revokes the license given to Tiger Electronics. Okay. And Tiger Electronics is like, no, you're not going to do that, and I'm not even sure you own the King Kong name.
Oh.
So we're holding on to that.
They're going after it.
So now we're going to jump back to Nintendo.
Okay.
And Nintendo is like, what the fuck are we going to do about this? This is ridiculous. This is a stupid claim. Let's use our attorney, Howard Lincoln,
Oh, another Howard?
Our only Howard.
Oh, who is the other lawyer? The lackey.
Robert.
Sorry.
No, you're okay.
Same genre.
So we're going to Nintendo's attorney, Howard Lincoln.
Okay.
He originally actually wanted to settle out of court for $5 to $7 million, but eventually he was like, "Fuck that! I'm gonna stick it to Universal."
Okay.
And he was like, "This is how we know as Nintendo made it big in the market space.
Yeah,
like someone else is coming after us. A studio that's been around for quite some time is coming after us. Hell yeah, we're in it now, boys.
Yeah,
you know." And so Howard and Nintendo's U.S. division head, Minoru Arakawa, went to L.A. to meet with Coleco and Universal.
Okay.
And Robert, the lackey, was like, "Hey, y'all are infringing. Can't you see the similarities?" And like, I just imagine him having like two pictures being held up of like Donkey Kong and King Kong. It's like, big ape. They're not the same picture.
Right.
And so Howard, Nintendo's attorney, fired back saying that there were dozens of unlicensed uses of King Kong, both name and characters, and that Universal's trademarks were less than 10 years old. Somehow that holds water about the 10-year part. I'm not too sure. Legally. Yeah. But Howard had gone back and done his homework and found all these other cases, not court cases, but all of these other examples. Yeah.
So Donkey Kong comes out in 82.
Yeah.
When is this court appearance? When does this court filing happen?
This is all throughout the year of 82.
Oh, this is all in 1 year.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, we're still in like, what did I say? Like May of 82 or something like that. We're still in like May, June of 1982.
The reason I ask is, in my head, what that shows is that it was kind of a planned like attack in a sense, because they didn't hold rights to the imagery and everything for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
So it seems like, as of late they've noticed that they need to start doing this, and then this came along and it seems more targeted. Yeah,
maybe.
So it was more of like an attempt, more so than like a happenstance, that they have footing because they've always held the rights to this IP.
Right.
Anyway,
I don't know. Maybe.
That's my only thought.
So at the end of the day, Robert the lackey said that they'll send over a chain of title of King Kong to Nintendo to prove Universal's ownership of the King Kong name.
Got it.
After Howard called them out on their bullshit,
right?
Robert was like, "Fine, we'll send you proof." Well, after weeks of no contact and not hearing anything from Universal, Howard was just sent like a little hey text, like, "Hey," and right, and Universal just responded with more demands for royalties. Like it was like, "Hey," and it was like, "Give us more money."
I was like, "Where did that come from?" Jesus,
right. And so Howard of Nintendo begins to do his own research and digging into this case, and realizes Universal's claims don't hold any water. Minoru and Howard call for another meeting with Universal to tell them, "We're not giving you shit.
Yeah.
You're not getting shit from us."
That's exactly, I think that's in the transcription.
I think so. And so Sid and Robert both assumed, once they got this call, that Nintendo was calling to be like, "All right, we're going to come settle. Like,
right.
Let's have this meeting so we can do all the paperwork. We're going to settle." Jokes on that.
Psych. What is this, a Suits episode?
But instead, obviously, they were shocked by the reality of the meeting. And Howard was just like, "I thought it was the honorable thing to do to tell them to their face, we're not going to pay you anything. Go fuck yourself."
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you're going to tell someone to go fuck themselves, you should do it to their face.
In person. Yeah, 1,000%. And then like throw something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So June 29th, 1982, Universal officially sues Nintendo.
Oh, the gauntlet's been thrown.
Yeah. But I found out, and I always forget how long of a process law really is, especially between two big corporations. It's just like
forever.
Right, because like my next note is in 1983. Like that's the next event. Like it goes from all right, we filed the lawsuit, we're suing you, and now we have to wait 6 months.
Well, that's like Sophia talks about that all the time.
Yeah.
She'll be like, "Oh yeah, like working on this case, but like there's so much to build and so much." I'm like, I feel like you've been working on that case for like 8 years. You haven't even been a lawyer for 8 years.
That's why we don't do anything.
Right.
Right. Where's our iron fist?
Come on.
I just want one king. I mean,
the truth comes out.
Yeah. I'm really an imperialist.
We knew it all along.
Take off my mask.
That's what I was gonna do.
It's me, King Charles.
Amazing. You need bigger ears for that.
Yeah. And look more dead.
Correct.
All right, so January 3rd. 1983, 6 months after Universal officially puts out the gauntlet to sue Nintendo. Universal sends out cease and desist letters to several of Nintendo's licensees, giving them 3 options: stop using Donkey Kong characters, obtain a license from Universal, or also be sued.
They chose the last one?
Well, 6 licensees unfortunately bent the knee, but Milton Bradley and Ralston Purina said, nah, and continued to make products like breakfast cereals that had Donkey Kong on the box.
Purina dog chow?
I think maybe. I don't know what that company also does.
Okay. But as of right now, we know cereal.
Yeah, like putting Donkey Kong on a box of cereal.
Got it. Okay. I was like, is our cereal just dog food?
I mean, it's all dried oats.
Would we be surprised?
So now that the suing is actually going to happen and all this bullshit's happening, we're calling in the big guy. Ooh. Nintendo picked up the phone and said, we need the best. Here comes one and only John Kirby.
What? Seriously?
Seriously. John Kirby.
And the character Kirby has not been created at this point.
No, it is not.
Amazing.
So he was hired by Howard to represent Nintendo because Kirby had won other cases previously for PepsiCo, General Foods, and Warner Lambert.
I feel like we have to say his full name because anytime you just say his last name, I think of like Kirby the character in a courtroom.
Oh yeah,
like arguing
Kirby
a case
in like a suit and tie with like a little briefcase.
Like he sucked in John Kirby and got his amazing.
And I don't know if I want Kirby in a suit and tie like a U.S. lawyer, or if I want Kirby to be in like the little pink Kirby to be in like a British court.
Oh, 1,000% with the wig and the robes and 100%.
I think I like that better.
I agree.
So Kirby's hired, and he starts doing his homework and researching the Donkey Kong game, as well as like digging into King Kong, of course.
Yeah.
And then he also takes depositions from the president of Nintendo, as well as the designer, Shigeru Miyamoto.
Okay.
Now, Miyamoto actually did, in fact, originally call his ape character King Kong at first, but only because that was a generic term in Japan for any large ape.
Oh, okay.
Because King Kong, and I don't quote me on this, but I'm 90% sure, was originally created as part of the Godzilla universe, like the Godzilla.
Oh, so Universal took it from Japanese culture.
And I actually want to Google that real quick. Okay. So after some quick research of my own, King Kong is actually originally an American movie film. Movie film.
We were originated.
So I guess then later King Kong was adapted into the Toho productions of the early Godzilla movies.
Got it.
In Godzilla versus King Kong.
Okay.
Here we are.
Back at it.
So, Miyamoto, like I said, was like, yeah, King Kong is just a generic term for any large ape in Japan. What of it? I eventually created my own name for this character. So, Universal City Studios Inc. v. Nintendo Co. Ltd. Occurred at the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York by Judge Robert W. Sweet. And this first trial lasted 7 days.
Oh, wow.
Which I don't know if that's a long time for big corporation
lawsuits. For something like this, I feel really like that's quick. Really fast.
Yeah. So Universal are in this court case argued that Donkey Kong was too similar to King Kong, thus could be confused, and the plot of the game was an infringement on the plot of the film.
Okay.
Kirby said, "Bet. Let me show you how wrong you are."
Bullshit. All right.
So he not only showed off the differences between Donkey and King Kong, that was also alleged that Universal actually didn't own the rights to King Kong because of a different court case, Universal City Studios Inc. versus RKO General Incorporated in 1975, where, and I believe this is the outcome that I read correctly, where Universal proved that the plot of King Kong was in the public domain, which allowed for the remake by Dino De Laurentiis.
So Universal's the one that argued that King Kong's in the public domain.
And so they could make their shit.
And so Kirby was like, I got you.
Right.
Literally I pulled up the receipts.
Right.
And I got you with your own words.
You're fucked.
Correct.
And Universal's like, but we own it. And you're like, no, you don't.
No, you don't. You just said it's in the public domain.
So Kirby brought all this up, and Judge Sweet then ruled that Universal did not have any trademark in King Kong.
Yeah.
King Kong did not designate a single source. The possibility that anyone could confuse the two was extremely unlikely. And he even said that Donkey Kong was almost a parody of King Kong. He's quote, comical and, quote, farcical, childlike, and non-sexual. And
I like that. That's a distinction.
Well, because he then later says that King Kong was, quote, a ferocious gorilla in quest of a beautiful woman, end quote. And because, I mean, if you want to get into a little bit of psychology and like film study of King Kong, there's a lot of like weird Freudian shit going on.
Right. We'll touch that on another episode.
Right.
Yeah.
And so gavel goes down. Bam. Universal's done. They filed their first appeal in 1984.
Okay. Oh, so we're back at it.
We're going back for it. We're not done. We're toweling off, getting back in the ring.
Which is like, bro, you're not like, calm down.
Just give it up. Just like change it up just slightly. Like your case doesn't have anything to hold on to here.
Right. Just be done. You're fine.
Right. Like if I have a movie about a movie about a deer, is Disney going to come after me because it's too similar to Bambi?
Right.
No, it's a fucking deer. They're everywhere.
But also, like, why not partner with Nintendo instead of trying to sue Nintendo?
Well,
okay.
Sid's greedy.
Well, Sid, you little fuck.
Little creep. Man, I'm going to get sued for slander.
I do picture Sid as, like, Mr. Burns.
Oh, absolutely. So Universal files their first appeal in 1984. Again, they bring to the table examples of consumer confusion between the two properties. But again, the court upheld the previous ruling, stating, quote, the two properties have nothing in common but a gorilla, a captive woman, a male rescuer, and a building scenario, end quote. That's all you got.
That's it.
And like you can't trademark any of those things
right.
because they're so common.
Right.
So now Nintendo's like, yeah, bitch, what are you going to do about it?
Right.
We're going to come after you now.
Flip the script.
They are filing their counterclaims in 1985.
Okay.
Seeking damages after Judge Sweet ruled the cease and desist letters gave them that right.
Nice.
And I got a little confused there because, spoiler alert, I'm not a lawyer.
What?
Legal jargon really confuses the shit out of me. And so Universal, well, Nintendo in their counterclaims, I believe, wanted Universal to pay Nintendo $1.8 million for, quote, legal fees, photocopying expenses,
amazing,
costs incurred creating graphs and charts, and lost revenues, end quote. So it's like, you got to pay for our paper and our Kinko's bill.
That's so good. Because realistically, 1.8 million is nothing.
Yeah, well,
to two large corporations.
Well, especially since, like I said before, the Calico was like 3% of Donkey Kong's net sales, which was 6 million units worth $4.6 million.
Right. So a quarter of that can just go to Nintendo. Because I guess Nintendo isn't like, it's big, but it's not what it is today.
Correct. Quite yet. It's just getting started.
Right. But Universal is huge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so Nintendo was also given the option to take Universal's licensing profits from their game or accept statutory damages, which is what Nintendo wound up doing.
Okay.
And received only $56,689 and 41 cents. The most important part.
Of
Buy
course.
a couple of pops with that.
Honestly, it's probably, they probably like went with that not to burn a bridge.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they could have really stuck it to him and been like, give me all of your licensing revenue, which would have been insane.
Right.
But instead they were like, all right, I'll take statutory damages and maybe something will come of this.
We can work together in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe,
oh, wait.
Is the Mario movie a Universal movie? Is that what you're thinking?
No, I was going to ask if they do work together. But I guess is the Mario movie a Universal movie?
Distributed by Universal Pictures.
Oh, shit!
No bridges were burnt, and now in 2023, we get the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
That statutory damages really came in handy, huh?
Holy cow.
That's crazy.
What a fun little coinkydink.
I love that.
Hated that I said coinkydink, though.
No, we'll keep it.
We'll keep it in there. So, there... Again, I'm not a lawyer, but like a bunch of like different legal battles went back and forth between the two companies for counterclaims. Universal wound up filing for a second appeal. All the judges, including Judge Sweet, upheld previous court decisions. So Universal didn't have a claim to the King Kong trademark.
Yeah.
But ruled for and against various counterclaims. So like, I think one of Nintendo's claims just wasn't accepted or ruled for. It was ruled against.
Yeah.
So they didn't get like X amount of money or something like that. Confusing jargon.
Sure.
I was like, I don't know what this is. But the most important part of this story is why I asked you about all of this, is that Nintendo wound up thanking John Kirby with a $30,000 sailboat named the Donkey Kong. And attached to that is that he can perpetually name any future sailboat Donkey Kong.
That's awesome.
And they also named an entire video game franchise Kirby in honor of their lawyer in this case.
That's awesome.
And supposedly a copy of Kirby's Dream Land, the first game that had Kirby in it, was sent to John, and he enjoyed and blushed at. He was very flattered.
That's so cute.
And so this court case established Nintendo as a contender in the market and prepared them for future legal battles with companies like Atari, and all the other video game people.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's where we get your Brian's favorite character, Kirby.
From the lawyer. That's awesome. No, I had no idea. One, it's cool to see that like they're back to working together. Like
that's hilarious.
Crazy. Now that Sid's out of the picture.
Sid.
But also, what a crazy way to try to get into the video game industry.
Right? Yeah.
Let's just sue the shit out of this small like company to start, and then we'll just
we'll go from there.
Domineer our way in. Like, Jesus.
And one thing I forgot to mention was that during like right when the court case was about to happen, Robert the lackey was like, he went back to Tiger Electronics and was like, hey, can you like change some shit on the video game? Like, I think they changed it to bombs. the King Kong video game. They changed it to bombs. Like it was like almost a direct clone of Donkey Kong. It was like, okay, can you change it to bombs, and like straighten out the platforms instead of they're not going to be tilted, they're going to be just like straight lines, and like
had to like finagle their way to not.
Yeah,
Jesus.
to not get like countersuit, I guess.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like that's true. Like stealing of an IP, like that's crazy.
Yeah, and so here we are. Now we have Kirby.
That's really cool, though. That's awesome. What a fun little toy, and like the beginning of Nintendo.
Yeah, they're getting their foot in the door of the U.S. market. I mean, they were pretty popular in Japan, of course.
Sure,
but getting into the U.S. market and getting their name out there was a huge part of this case.
Well, and like to their first lawyer's credit, like this shows that like you're now in the map because you have a large corporation coming after you, like as shitty as it is, but like
that's capitalism.
Like, it shows that you're in their radar. Yeah, you know,
you're a threat.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, that's cool. Well, thanks, Dev. I appreciate you telling us about that.
Hey, go play some Smash Bros.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, rate us 5 stars only.
Yes.
And you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at @WhatDoYouKnow_podcast.
Yeah.
You can also follow us on Twitter or X at WDYK_podcast.
It's perfect. Do it.
And you know what? Let me know what your favorite Super Smash Bros. Character is to play as.
Oh, nice.
I would love to do that. And if anyone wants to fight me online, let me know. In Smash Bros. I will play online with you, not like fight in the comments.
Go to town. Just do it. Come on.
Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
Bye.